Hello. Sure. Hello, everybody. Really excited about this. So, I teach primarily high school and college age students. I do a lot of test prep for TOEFL exams, GRE, um, and some preparation for students to come study in the US. Um, I'm very interested in coding. Primarily, a lot of my students are wanting to go into tech, study computer security, computer science, all these kinds of things. Um, and I like elementary because most of my students don't have a lot of opportunity to get some kind of introduction into coding before they jump into college programs. So I think this would be a really nice way to help them not only practice some of their English skills, but help get their toes wet a little bit in coding as well. I don't know much about coding myself, but I'm really excited to learn from Nicole.
Awesome. So I just realized once again, I muted myself at the beginning, but
Oh no.
Bree has already introduced herself, so everything is okay.
Perfect.
So no problem.
All
Okay,
right.
so we're just going to dive right in, and we have a couple of activities today. I actually did some prep work beforehand.
Very excited.
And really, I think the goal for us as teachers is just to make it more interesting and engaging for students. And it's
Definitely.
really easy to do it for like young students, like second grade, third grade. They're just excited
Mm-hmm.
about everything. But once you get up to higher grade levels, it gets a little bit more challenging. And
Mm-hmm.
especially with something like a foreign language in which you have to kind of grind through year after year and you kind of learn the same thing over and over, but you're still never quite that proficient in it.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a bit
Repetition,
frustrating.
repetition.
Yeah, I always like to make fun of the. So I'm living in France currently, and
Oh,
so of
really?
course in France you have to learn English as a second language, and they actually have to learn a
Mm-hmm.
third language on top of that.
Oh,
So
wow.
so yeah, their
Didn't
schedule is
know
quite
that.
packed.
Definitely.
But most people who exit out of the public school system, their English level isn't really that great. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody uses like the same workbook, so
Yep. Yeah, I was living in Czech, and there was a similar situation with a lot of the students that I had there as well.
yeah, and it was just really funny because then everyone is like, Brian is in the kitchen when I'm like, when I start talking to them, and they're
Yep.
like, that's all I remember.
Yep.
Where is Brian? Because
Oh
you have very
goodness.
set sentences and very
Mm-hmm.
set sentence structures, and you always do the
Yeah.
same thing year after year after year,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh yes.
it gets a bit repetitive. So hopefully, today we won't be too repetitive with introductions.
Yeah.
And we'll try to do something a little bit new. So the first
Mm-hmm.
thing I'm going to ask Brie to do is actually share her screen with us. So she's going to
Sure
be
thing.
going on Elementary, and she will be creating a story first from scratch. So we can kind of see how Elementary kind of works and a little bit how the coding kind of works. And then once we kind of understand better a little bit the website, then we'll dive into remixes, which are basically allowing you to copy a template, so like a pre-made kind of worksheet, and then you can fill out and fill in the blanks as you will. So I don't think you can see this. Yeah, you can share now. Sorry, I
Okay.
didn't give you permission.
Perfect.
I
No,
always do
that's
that.
okay. Not to worry. So let me get over here.
Okay, great.
All
So
right.
here we have our
Where we want to go.
screen, and it looks beautiful. So
There.
the first thing you're gonna do is click on either write a story or the write button in the top right hand corner. Um, So, oh, you already started one? Great.
I
So
was
let's,
poking around a little bit.
yeah, so let's just create a new story from
Sure.
scratch, and just see how that kind of works.
Sounds good. I love the images that you have on here, by the way. They're so fun.
Yeah, there's quite a lot, so you can cancel out of that. Um, and I think the first thing that we're going to kind of learn about is just go through kind of adding images, and then
Yeah.
maybe like a speech bubble. And then the most important thing for language learners, I think, is the record voiceover and coding the voiceover to play. Because when I was learning a language, I could
Mm-hmm.
read, I could probably write pretty okay too,
Mm-hmm.
but speaking is such a challenge.
It really is. Oh goodness.
And
No.
so, part of this is, yeah, you want to encourage students to speak and
Mm-hmm.
listen to themselves speak, which is actually kind of scary because we don't like to hear ourselves speak at all. We're just
Yes.
like, I'm going to record it and submit it, and
Yep.
the
It
end.
is what it is. I don't want to listen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's add
Where
some
are we gonna go?
images. We have a
Sure.
whole bunch of like anime style characters, which are pretty popular for like older
Yeah.
grades. We also have just cute characters. Um,
If I search, ooh,
so you should probably, yeah, you could search
or
instead of anime, just look through the humanoids, and
sure.
then that can
Is there a category?
probably,
Ah, there
yeah,
we go.
humanoids, and then like get rid of the
Very
search
cool.
term, I guess.
Oh
Or you can also search
my goodness.
UI. That's one of the USUI. That's one of the artists that does a lot. Yeah, so this is all his stuff.
Oh,
So
that's so cool.
yeah, if you like hover over the thing, generally you can, yeah, see, you can see the artist's name by
Very cool.
whoever. So yeah, you could just like grab
Nice.
one of them. They have a whole bunch of facial expressions, which is really great. So
Yeah.
you can do all sorts of dramas and
Oh, let's try here.
yeah. Okay, great. So we can just start with maybe adding a background image also to kind of even things out. Could be any
Let's
of them. Just click on
try.
something and it'll be beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay,
Very nice.
so let's add a speech bubble.
Sure. Would that be under tech?
Yep.
There we go.
And then you can say like, I don't know, hello, my name is blah blah blah.
Grab my dog's name. Cool,
Okay,
cool.
great. So we wrote our sentence. Now we want to record a voiceover and then code it to play. So the first thing we want to do is record our sound. So we go to the sound tab. Yep, right there. And you notice you have like music and sound effects, and there's a big orange button in the middle, and it says record
Yeah.
voiceover. You're going to click on that. Okay, you're going to allow access to the microphone.
Right.
And then when you click on the gray circle, it's going to do a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then you can record your voiceover.
Sure. Let's go. Hello, my name is Vera.
Okay.
Let's see.
You hear
Oh,
anything?
no.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Let's try
Let's
again and see if something weird happened.
adjust my computer and see if I'm blocking anything. Alrighty. Take 2. Hello, my name is Vera.
That's really weird. Let me take a look really quick on my
Sure.
end. What browser are you using?
Google Chrome.
Let's see if
Microphone.
Hello,
Let me
hello,
see
hello.
if I
Yeah, I'm able to do it on my side. Hello, hello, hello.
let's see. Let's try it this way.
Maybe something is blocking the sounds somewhere.
Yeah, I normally keep the cookies blocked, so that sometimes messes with sound. Let's reload and see if.
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie.
Take 3.
Third time's the charm. Hello. Hello. My name is Vera. Maybe?
Okay, that's really weird.
Hmm.
Let's see if do you have maybe another browser you can maybe use? Let's try like
Yeah, let's see if I can.
or maybe if you go
Try
into like incognito on that browser, maybe there's like something weird blocking it.
Yeah. Let me try in here.
And you're using like a regular laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just click on the
Oh,
thumbnail. Yeah.
gotcha. There we go.
All right, let's see if this one likes us better.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Technology sometimes doesn't like us. Oh,
Oh, really?
allow access.
Hello. My name is Vera.
It might be your microphone or something then. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure. Maybe the input is doing not connecting properly.
Yeah. Let's see. Mhm. Let's try this guy. See if. Hello. My name is Vera.
Okay,
No.
very strange. I guess we'll look into that a little bit later. Let's just
Yeah.
continue and
Sure.
go through things. So ideally, what would happen would you would have computer and microphone and internet and all that
Yeah.
stuff that would work in recording a voiceover.
Yeah. Sorry
And
about that.
then let's actually go to the event graph.
Sure.
And here's actually where we code. So
Okay.
in order to code our voiceover to play or our object to fade in, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
we would first need an event.
Okay.
So you would go into the event tab. Yep. And you can choose when you want to trigger things to play. So you can either choose to make things play on page start, which is great. So we're going to try on page start. And then for the function, since we can't really play the recorded sound, let's just have the text kind of fade in. So
Sure.
yeah, we'll use that one. And great. And so we have 2 blocks. You're going to just connect them together. Okay, you're a pro at
Gotcha.
this. And now we need what we are fading in. So what are we fading
Gotcha.
in? We are fading in an object.
Gotcha.
Now which object?
Text bubble.
Yeah.
And so when you're in here telling it what to do to what, I see these two are connected. Does this have to be connected to anything
Yeah,
or?
so we have to connect it to the function block fade.
Okay.
So you need to connect the bubble 0 to the green block. So look to see bubble 0 has a purple circle.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
grab the purple circle first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Oh.
then, yep. So you're going to
Ah,
connect the purple circle to the purple circle. So this
gotcha.
is a node-based visual programming environment for
Mm-hmm.
your students who are more interested in tech. You can also
Sure.
refer them to checking out game development engines such as Unreal Engine or Unity. Both of
Mm-hmm.
those have a visual coding environment that is kind of similar to this. It's a lot more complex,
Awesome.
of course. This is very,
Mm-hmm.
very, very simplified. But the very basis of it is just like we have events, we have functions.
Mm-hmm.
Functions are like our actions, they tell us what we're going to do. And yeah, that's already like the very
Cool.
intro to computational thinking, which is basically thinking like a computer and getting computers to
Awesome.
work. So let's try to preview it,
That.
see what happens.
Sure.
Okay,
No.
so let's go to, maybe let's try previewing it because sometimes when it fades in, it already fades in. So let's actually give it a delay a bit.
Sure.
So that way we can maybe fade it in a certain direction so you can see a little bit better. You have a direction tab.
Ah.
Yeah.
Let's say to the left.
Yeah, let's try that. So let's click on preview. Yeah, so you see a little bit, it
Okay.
goes to the left. So if you go from a
Yeah.
different page to this page, then you won't have the loader blocking it
Mm-hmm.
in the way.
Gotcha.
So that's basically the very beginnings of creating different functions to make them go together. But I think the real benefit of using it for ESL, like once again, is just the
Mm-hmm.
recording the voiceover and maybe using the
Mm-hmm.
remix feature to kind of
Okay.
give them a template. So I have two remixes for you, and I'm just going to copy and paste into the Zoom chat
Awesome.
where I can find it wherever it is. Where's Zoom chat? Ah, I'm having difficulties navigating Zoom. Oh, here it is.
Oh, here's the chat.
Sorry. Here's the chat.
Here it is.
So I've added it to the
Awesome.
chat. You can just click on that link. I'll have the link also in the description. These are already public,
Fantastic.
so anyone can read it and remix it. So this one here is a very simple kind of like social media profile. And the objective is really to get students to write a little bit more about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to copy this remix, you just click
Sure.
on the remix button at the bottom. You see the heart, and then you got remix.
Yeah.
So remix basically copies the entire story, all its code, everything. And when you publish, it automatically credits and notifies the original source. So that's also pretty
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
So if you create a template and you have students use it, then
Mm-hmm.
when they publish it, you'll know that they used it. So,
Gotcha.
or it's also
That's
just
nice.
anybody in the world can kind of use it, and you'll see what they've done with it.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
loading. Let's see if it'll be okay. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's a bit sad with the loading process. We'll wait a
Yeah.
little longer. Anyway, so
Gotta.
oh great, I saw something. Oh no, that was something else.
Yeah, it was.
That was the other tab.
That was the other tab. Come on, guy. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so the first page is kind of wonky. Let's try refreshing really quick, seeing if that does anything. I think it was because the screen resized or something in the middle. That was kind of funny. Anyway, should be faster this time because it's copied everything over. So there you go. Much faster. Okay, so we now have quite a few pages. Our first page is just our little person. We can, customize this gal. And you can do that if you want. You just click on her, and then you can click on customize. There's a little orange button in the left side. Yeah.
I never know where to put
The,
um,
my
these
face.
things. Yes.
My face.
Oh,
Yeah, so then
okay.
you can, choose the
Oh, that's
hair, choose
cool.
the eyes, add a necklace if you want, give her no eyebrows, whatever you want.
Yeah, let's give her a little heart here.
Yeah, so if you want to use this one on the second page, you can just copy
Mm-hmm.
it and then you can just paste it on the second page. So you can
Gotcha.
either copy with that or you could do Control C, Control V.
Sure.
Both work. So paste, and then you have to move her around in order to make her kind of appear.
Sure.
Yeah, kind of is invisible at first. Yeah, so then you can just
Gotcha.
kind of replace my character with your character. Just like delete her and then fit her in, and voila, you got your new look. So really the objective is I already have 3 sections. One of them is
Mm-hmm.
the favorites. So that's like a very standard sort of question we always ask. What's your favorite food? What do you like to do?
What's your
What's your
favorite
what's
movie?
your favorite movie?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can just list some of them. Um, and if we go to the event graph, you'll notice that I have already kind of coded some things already. So you don't have to actually
Sure.
code it yourself. But basically, the code is
Gotcha.
saying when I click on the button, I want to navigate to a different page.
Mm-hmm.
In our case, since we changed the image of the girl, you would have to add the girl to make her animate.
Sure.
Because right now there's no animation anymore.
Ah,
Yeah, so you would have to go grab your girl and then somewhere at the bottom probably.
yep. Here we go.
Yep, and then you can just connect her to function animate like that. Perfect. So now she's gonna, idle, and it's gonna be great.
Sure.
So when you're coding, just so that you know, yeah, so you can click on preview.
All right.
And so now she's
Oh, that's
animated.
so cool.
She's moving a bit. And
Mm-hmm.
then the see more is already coded. So you could just click on the buttons and it'll direct to the page. So in this case, it's the 3 sentences about your favorite stuff. And you can add pictures if you want. You could go back to the profile and
Yeah, and see more about these guys.
yeah, so that's just an example of a
Cool.
template that you can do. And really,
Mm-hmm.
like, storytelling is kind of huge for everywhere. So having
Mm-hmm.
students be able to share their experiences in a kind of story format rather than
Mm-hmm.
a set fill in the blank sentence structure
Yeah.
format
Mm-hmm.
is is a challenge, but it's really important because that's what makes people like look at you and listen to you and feel that you're genuine and that you're like
Yeah.
actually a person that's going to communicate with you.
Exactly. Exactly. And I get a lot of students who feel really uncomfortable
Hmm.
talking about themselves in a more informal way,
Yeah, yeah,
like and getting them used to talking, if you're in class, you are going to have some formality, but there's also going to be some more informal like conversation that you have that you should need to practice a bit, get used to.
yeah. And I think, yeah, that's a really, really great point. What kind of activities have you kind of done in your classroom to try to engage students to talk more about themselves?
It's I try to make as many things as specific to the student that I'm
Mm-hmm.
with as possible. So, um, and my classes tend to be a bit more shorter term, a lot of like month long, like preparation for interviews or testing, stuff like that. But um, what have I done? A lot of it's just having them get used to me asking them questions like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, I want to hear about what did you do this week? Like, what did you think about um, this thing that I saw in the news that happened near you?" Like,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of students have a hard time with sharing their opinions
Yeah.
on things. So I try to get them just, I'm not because I'm a teacher, yes, but I want to hear your opinion, and you're going to be getting more
Yeah, I'm
more
not
questions
I'm
about
not
your
gonna judge
opinions.
you.
Like, exactly. I'm here to help you practice speaking. I'm not here to judge what you think or how you speak.
How
It's
dare you think this
exactly,
way?
how dare you have this opinion about Spider-Man? Like, no, I just um,
Yeah.
but I've actually, and like you mentioned earlier, with younger students, there's certain activities that they get really into and
Uh-huh.
interested in. And I've found with older students, I tend to have a harder time finding activities that they feel
Mm-hmm.
engaged with,
Mm-hmm. Because they
which makes
often
it
feel like, I'm not a kid anymore. What is this? This is
exactly,
so boring.
exactly, exactly, which is why I'm super excited about these
Yeah.
coding activities in this template. I think this will be something that a lot of them are very just genuinely interested in the topic
Mm-hmm.
of coding. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, I think another way you can also spin it is
Mm-hmm.
we've had high school students within the US in English
Yeah.
class use it to create stories for younger students. So if they have like a niece or nephew, or if they have younger brothers or sisters, or if they're a
Yeah.
parent and they have kids already, then this can
Mm-hmm.
be something that might be a way to spin it to really engage them, because it's no longer like, oh, I'm writing
Definitely.
kids books because I suck at English, but it's like
Yeah.
I'm writing these stories to help my my cousin
Definitely.
or my nephew or niece or
Oh,
whatever.
I like that.
So it makes it a more authentic project rather than like just a
Definitely.
workbook, fill in the blank. I hate
Mm-hmm.
this, but I'm doing
Yep,
it because I think that it's going to help me if I do these worksheets enough. So
exactly. Oh, no, that's a really good one. I like that.
yeah, so
So that's
when you were talking about more informal sort of settings, I have another
mm-hmm.
story that I want to share with you, and this
Okay.
one is more focused on the coding side and really making
Mm-hmm.
storytelling interactive. So you're kind of
Very
coding an
nice.
experience where you kind of talk to the reader,
Yeah?
but it's all kind of coded.
Cool, cool. Let's take a look.
So oh, this time it loaded really fast.
Yes.
That's
We're
really
getting
great.
there.
Okay, so let's actually preview it so you can kind of see what at least
Sure.
the first two pages kind of look like,
Mm-hmm.
because that requires user input.
Sure.
So let's just go to the next page. And the first thing you're going to do is type your name inside the speech bubble. Then you can press enter, or you can, click outside. So click on the background. Just click on the
Oh,
background or click on enter, and
oh,
then it'll say
gotcha.
like, "Hey Bree,"
Oh, so
and
cool.
you could say like, "What's up, Bree?" Whatever you want.
What's up?
And so if you go to the next page, so we're going to
Sure.
ignore the directions for now, but
For
basically
sure.
this is just 3 adjectives. You can add 3 adjectives and then press submit.
Sure. Let's see. I'm hungry. It's lunchtime.
So then the cat says, "So you think that you're funny, nice, and hungry? Interesting."
That's a very fun looking cat.
I like his pet a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to just
So,
look at these two slides first before we go on to the
sure.
next ones. So let's just exit out of those and just check it out.
All right.
And basically, if you go to slide 2, you'll notice that I have these little curly brackets, okay?
Yeah.
So these curly brackets are also called like mustaches, and that's like an actual technical term.
Really? Oh, that's great.
It's a JavaScript library, and they use this
Uh-huh.
curly bracket notation to
Goodness.
indicate if something is a variable or not.
Mm-hmm.
And variables, if you know, like in math, it's like x and y, and
Yeah.
it's just a name that stores a value. So in our case,
Mm-hmm.
we created a variable called name, and it stores the value of whatever you inputted into your text box. We
Gotcha.
do have a tutorial on how to do that from scratch. So if you
Uh-huh.
click on like the purple little button,
Mm-hmm.
and you have how to use a text variable, and you click on that, it basically goes through how to actually do this step by step. So if you really wanted to
Gotcha.
learn
Oh,
like the
that's really
coding
cool.
of how it all works, then you could just go
Uh-huh.
through this tutorial. In our case, we don't really care too
Gotcha.
much about it, so we just
Eh,
it's
some
a
other time.
template. It's a template, so the goal
Mm-hmm.
is to just get people to write.
Gotcha.
And this is just a way to kind of introduce maybe informal greetings, like how do you
Mm-hmm.
greet someone informally?
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe like obviously you could say hello or you could say
Mm-hmm.
hi, but you can also say
Mm-hmm.
hey or how's it going. There's a whole bunch of different
Exactly.
things. And yeah, if you want to use the person's name elsewhere
Mm-hmm.
in the story, all you have to do is put the curly brackets with name inside. So you could say
Okay.
whatever you want. Um, Now, slide 3 is just my directions page for
Mm-hmm.
students. And basically,
Gotcha.
the idea of this is just having students create a question with,
Mm-hmm.
3 things. So in my case, it's write 3 adjectives that describe you, but it could be
Mm-hmm.
what are 3 foods that you like, or
Yeah.
if you were to, if there was a fire and you had only 3 objects that you can bring with you, what would they
Mm-hmm.
be?
Yep.
And then let's take a look at what it looks like in the second one. So in the fourth
Fourth
page,
slide.
fourth slide. Yeah. So basically, you could just change the
Gotcha.
question. You can also change the placeholder. So right now I have adjective 1, adjective 2, adjective 3, but you can call it whatever.
Yeah.
And in my case, I named the variables thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. So that should be always there. Always, it's always set to
Sure.
thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. But let's try it. So
Gotcha.
let's change the question to some other
All right.
question.
And so we're gonna go in here.
Yeah, you could just like Control A to select everything, or you can use your mouse.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool. So let's go with. Oh my goodness. My my mouse does not want to agree with me today.
you can press Control A to select
Oh,
everything in the text box, or
there
Apple.
we
Yeah,
go.
there we go. And
Perfect.
so,
Um, hmm. Let's go with the what are 3 objects you would save from a fire?
yeah, so then you would just change the placeholder text. Right now it says adjective, but you could just once again select it all and then
Yep. Object 1. I didn't know about that Control A. That's very helpful.
yeah, it's a pretty helpful shortcut for just typing things in general.
Yeah.
Um, like I use the keyboard a lot and the mouse a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and I've developed,
Yeah.
some wrist pain.
Yep.
And so
I hear you.
I try not to use the mouse as much because when you
Mm-hmm.
use the mouse, it makes your wrist pain even worse. So
Yeah.
just trying to keep everything on the keyboard. So yeah, now
Makes
you
sense.
have to create your response from the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
All right.
and you could
So
just, get rid of everything if you wanted to. Uh, and see if you can, come up with a response.
so you would take or so you would save.
Yep.
I need to keep it thing 1.
Yeah, it needs to be thing 1.
Thing 2. And whoop, thing 3.
Yeah, and so this is a good way to, have students practice basically sentence structure and
Yeah,
grammar.
definitely. All right.
Okay, so you can just try it out, or you can add some more.
Very interesting. And so,
So click on preview to try it out.
good.
So you would,
Oh,
oops.
so it would fill this out.
Yep.
What would I take from a fire? Let's say my dog. Shakespeare and laptop. I feel like the cat is judging me.
Yeah. A very judgmental cat.
Yeah, the eyebrows is what it is.
Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
that's kind of how you would do it, and have students kind of create their own question response kind of game scenario.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can exit out of that. And then the next activity is just basically an about me. So you would just create the text and add a sentence. And like, let's say, for example, a student is like, okay, well, I want to say this and I want to say more afterwards. You have a couple ways of doing that. So you can add another speech bubble on top. So you can fade one in, fade one out, and then fade the other in. Or you can use this lovely function called, let's actually go to the event graph and try it out.
Sure.
So you could just see how it looks like. So I actually had the play record sound already connected. So all they had to do would be to record the sound and then select it from the drop down. But since we don't have the play record sound kind of working, let's just disconnect that for right now. So you can just click on the line. Yeah, and then just delete the line. So we're just gonna remove that connection. Sure. So what our code is saying right now is on page start, it's just gonna play a text effect, and then it's gonna fade in the first speech bubble.
All right.
And then maybe what we want to do is we want to wait, 5 seconds and then change the text to another sentence, for example.
Gotcha.
So let's actually try doing that. Sure. And you can make the event graph bigger by clicking on the full screen button. Yep, you got it there. Awesome. So full screen. So we're going to grab a wait function. So functions tell us what we're going to do. We're going to wait. So right underneath fade. Yep.
So drag it in here.
Yep. Oh. I think when you click on it, it doesn't appear in a very nice place. We need to fix that.
Hides from you.
You want to put the kind of green blocks from left to right. So you're thinking of it as like a flow chart, and you're thinking of it as the white lines are directing where you're going to go. So first I'm going to play a text effect, then I'm going to fade, then I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to change my text. So to change the text is a really cool function. So you go to functions, and it's all the way at the bottom, I believe. So you might have to scroll all the way down, and it's called set text object equals value. Yeah, text object equals value. Great. So we're just going to connect that. And we need to set what text object we're going to, change. So
gotcha.
So you can add the new text if you want in right now. So you can write another sentence about Fluffy.
Sure. Let's say Fluffy's best friend is Spot. Generic dog name.
Great. So we need to connect object to this function. And
so do we connect this to the bubble?
Because we want this bubble to change.
Gotcha.
That's what it's saying. So we want this bubble. My name is Fluffy and I'm the meanest cat around the town. And we want the text in that to change to the value that you just set.
Gotcha.
So we're waiting 1 second, but maybe let's wait 2 seconds. So it's not like bing and then bing.
Exactly.
Probably better to wait a little longer, but that's okay. Let's exit out and just try it out.
All right. And so how do we get back here. There we go.
There you go. Now let's preview.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see. Maybe we connected something wrong. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Back to full screen.
Fade in. Text object equals value. Let's go. How about let's just try it again? Maybe put fade in. I'm doing it on my side too to see what's going on. Okay. It works for the text box for me. Let's try another. Try editing the value again.
Sure. In here?
Actually, I think we found a bug. Let me see.
Sure.
Yeah. There's a bug. So don't use the speech bubble. Let's try just adding instead of using the speech bubble, change the text of the text object, text 0. I'm gonna fix this. So get rid of the connection between bubble 0 and text object equals value.
Okay.
Yeah, get rid of that. And we're just gonna test something out to make sure it's not just me that's working.
Sure.
And connect the text object to the text 0 block, the first, like basically the first sentence.
So we're connecting this to
the first.
to text 0.
Text 0. Yeah, that one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, try that.
Sure.
So we made some changes. Things break. We'll fix it. So let's check it out.
It happens.
So 1 second, 2 second, maybe. Is it gonna switch?
Maybe.
Can you? Yeah, that's very strange, this behavior. We will look into that. Anyway, the other way that you can do it, since this isn't working too well, is you could just add another text box, a speech bubble on top.
Okay.
And then fade out the current speech bubble and then fade in the other speech bubble. So let's try that instead.
Gotcha. So we get rid of
just get rid of that. Just get rid of the blocks for now.
Sure. Get rid of the weight.
Yeah, just get rid of the weight. And then you can just grab, well, we don't have another speech bubble, but you can grab a fade function for right now.
Sure.
And then, yeah. So you want to fade this out first.
Okay, so fade out.
Yep, fade out. So connect the fade to the fade. Yep, that's right.
And both of these?
Yes. So now you're saying fade in, fade out. Let's try that. You might need the weight at some point, otherwise it's just gonna blink.
Gotcha.
Okay. We'll see.
I really like the typewriter kind of sound that you have in there too.
Yeah, so then it fades in and then fades out. So you would basically have a weight and then you would put another fade, and that's kind of how you would do it if you were to just use it as a layout. So you could just put like a weight between. Ideally though, if you have the play record sound, you won't need the weight, because then it'll just wait until the play record sound is done, and
Oh,
then you can fade it out. So that
gotcha.
way it just feels a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We really need to investigate why the
Yeah,
microphone is so
I'm.
strange. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe
I
afterwards,
can.
like you could just like try restarting and seeing like if maybe that will
Yeah.
do anything. I know sometimes my
Oh,
laptop doesn't like microphones at all.
yeah. I think there might be an update that I have been avoiding. So my computer sometimes doesn't like when I don't do things when it tells me to.
Yeah, no
But
problem. I mean, it happens. I
yeah.
remember my computer when I used to do a lot of work on my laptop, I always had to
Uh-huh.
restart every time I wanted to Skype someone because they couldn't hear
Really?
me. Yeah, they wouldn't register
Oh wow.
my microphone so much. It was very strange. And it was only for Skype,
That's
so
odd.
it was really weird. Anyway,
Hmm.
let's go to page 7.
Okay. Sure.
So we could just continue creating this
Moving right
story
along.
and going to the layout design because that's the
Yep.
basically just the we only have instructions here. So
Sure.
um, ideally, what would happen is you can have students focus on how to ask questions because I think
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of difficult, um,
Yeah.
especially since when we learn how to ask questions in a textbook, it's just like who, what, like
Mm-hmm. Very
why,
short, very formal.
and
Yeah.
there's so many ways that we can ask questions that
Mm-hmm.
are not just the standard textbook kind of formula.
Yep. Exactly.
And
Everything can become a question.
exactly. So let's take a look at some introductory question phrases I have. It's the next slide
Sure.
down. Yeah, and so these are just
Nice.
ways that you can kind of scaffold and help students just
Mm-hmm.
come up with their questions. So if in the case, like in my case, I have Fluffy because I
Uh-huh.
don't like writing about myself too much. So I just write about a
Same.
fictional cat,
Yep.
and really it doesn't matter too much if you're talking about like yourself or another person.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we just need
Just
them to practice. Um,
yeah.
yeah, another thing for older students I like to do is
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing like resumes, is to kind of
Yeah.
create a fictional person resume. Because unless you're a superstar, you don't really have that many things to say about what you've done. I mean, most high
Yeah.
school students are like, I go to school and
Yep.
I come
Mm-hmm.
home
Yep.
and I like video games and that's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And that's completely
Exactly.
normal. That's what I would do too. um,
Definitely.
I mean, when you're in a one-on-one setting, it's a little bit easier because you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to have the pressure of like, oh my God, there's always that one kid in class that does
Yep.
everything and makes you feel
Mm-hmm.
kind of like you failed at life.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So yeah, like resume sort of style, you could create like a resume type of
I like that a
template
lot.
and
Mm-hmm.
have them kind of answer the questions. This also ties really well into like social emotional learning, self awareness,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. Because yeah, you can
Yeah.
create a fictional resume, but at the same time, you're going to be asking yourself that kind of question as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do both ways. Yeah, I
Yeah,
always like
I
to
like
bring
that
my
a
cat.
lot.
Yeah, these are
Mm-hmm.
just ideas I'm throwing out for older students that I think
Mm-hmm.
would kind of work.
No, I like that for the resume a lot because exactly you get some people who don't feel like they have anything to talk about on a resume, and then people who have a lot of good things to talk about but feel like they're bragging, they're not comfortable
Mhm.
saying it about
Yeah,
themselves.
they're
So
not
this would
comfortable
be
with saying, and it's all about like getting them to practice because once they do a fictional
exactly.
one, it'll just be replacing a couple lines with their own,
Mm-hmm.
achievements or whatever.
Yeah,
Like you can make a if you do a resume for a cat, for example, like what can a cat do?
exactly. Exactly. No, I like that idea a lot.
I stare at I don't know at butterflies 30 minutes a day,
Yep.
like
I guard the window from the birds and then I go take a nap in the sun. It's a very busy day.
yeah, you have no idea.
Right. Oh, the stress.
So yeah,
Very cool.
the introductory phrases we kind of got completely off topic, but introductory
Yeah.
phrases for questions these are really great.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a AMA Ask Me Anything sort of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the slides afterwards are just template slides, but they can, change
Mm-hmm.
it up, add different background
Gotcha.
images, add the question, add the answer. It's
Perfect.
already pre-coded with the recorded sound there. They
Mm-hmm.
just have to record the sound and then select it. So if you
Okay.
take a look at the event graph, you can see what I mean by that.
Sure.
So then it's really easy for them because they just have to select the sound and then
Gotcha.
that's it. You don't have any recorded sounds, so there's nothing to select, but
Yeah.
that's how you would kind of do it. And we've
Mm-hmm.
seen this kind of pre-made templates used pretty
Mm-hmm.
effectively in one
Awesome.
ESL EFL class in Korea. They were going to be
Oh, really?
they were in it was in South Korea, and they were students who are planning to go on a, I guess it's not an exchange, but it's like a work
Mm-hmm.
study visa sort of thing to
Uh-huh.
Australia. So they're, I
Oh,
think, kind
very
of the
cool.
similar age as your students.
Mm-hmm.
Um, her class was a little bit
Definitely.
more fun. It was like a literature study class. So there was
Uh-huh.
one unit on fairy tales, and
Oh, that's so
they
cool.
had to remix the fairy tale and change
Uh-huh.
one or two slides in the fairy tale to kind of make it more modern or do their own twist on it.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one I
Oh,
really
that's
liked
fun.
on one of the kids did one on Little Mermaid. Uh,
Oh,
so
really?
so I'll let me find it
Yeah.
in my.
Sounds really cool. And so a question
Mhm.
about the recorded sounds. So if you're going through a project like this and you have, say, 4 or 5 different sounds that you've recorded,
Mhm.
um, is there a way for you to like label the sounds so when you
Yes.
record them so you
Yes.
know what's what?
Yes. Let me
Awesome.
just actually record a sound for you so you can actually see what it looks like on
Sure.
my end.
Thank you. I'm
um,
gonna make this bigger for a sec so I can see your screen.
Now I'm gonna actually screen share with you, I guess, or
Sure.
can
Or should I stop sharing for a second to do
or you
that?
could take a
Or
look at this. Can you see that? If you make it bigger, should I share my screen with you? I could share my screen
uh,
with you as well. Let me share my screen.
how do I
Sure.
make that larger?
That's okay. I shared my screen with you. Great.
Okay.
So I am in my I'm gonna just create a new project.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I go into my sounds, I go into record voiceover, I click hello, my name is Nicole. La 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 la. So my name is Nicole. La 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 la. Can you hear that? Did I share my audio with you?
No, I don't think so.
My name is Nicole. La 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 la. Okay.
No, I can't hear.
I'm supposed to be sharing my audio with you now. I'll work this. Share
Not
computer
sure.
audio. Maybe it's because of I'm using OBS. But anyway, you'll see like a
Mm-hmm.
sound graph like this. And
Yeah.
then you can, it looks a lot different than yours. And then you can just like trim it so you can get rid of
Okay.
any extra stuff you don't want. You could just save it. So
Nice.
this is my la 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 segment that I did. And then I can name it. So I say la 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 like that.
Gotcha.
And I save it. So then it'll appear here. This is where all your
Uh-huh.
page sounds exist. If you
Gotcha.
add like a background music, like, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
Brandenburg Concerto, then you'll see that you have
Gotcha.
another one. And how it works is basically on start,
Mm-hmm.
record sound. Then I grab that, and then you have a drop down, and then you have the name here.
Gotcha.
So the
Okay.
sounds are on each page, so they live
Mm-hmm.
on the page. So
Gotcha.
you can't use this sound on like page 2, for example. There's no more sounds on
Okay.
this. So that kind of gives you an
Gotcha.
overview of what that is. I
Thank you.
think, was it this one? So you had Little Mermaid. You had quite a few. So basically, this was the original
Mm-hmm.
one.
The
And
Once upon a time,
can
there
you
was
hear
a
the audio?
beautiful young mermaid. She lived in
Yeah, I
a
think it's
wonderful
not being
kingdom
shared
under the sea,
properly.
but she wanted more. I wish I could see the other world.
So her students were also, I think, intermediate level. And so they had
Finally, on her 15th
the assignment of, just creating a fractured fairy tale. So they would just have to replace
Okay.
a couple of the slides, and it was just the introduction to elementary. So they're just figuring out how it works and adding a
Yeah.
voiceover. Then she had a second. Uh, she then had Fables unit. So I actually use this in our curriculums page for the younger kids. But I use her story that she used for her high school students, and basically you had three templates that you can use, and you have like speech bubbles and a text box. So they have to fill in the speech bubbles and the narration so that it makes sense, that it
Yeah.
meets the moral of the story at the end, things like that. So that
Gotcha.
was one of their assignments that they did in this
Cool.
week-long thing. And then they had another one, which was a final project, which was on creating a mythical sort of story. Like, so they had
Ooh.
I think they called it out of ordinary object or something. So
Huh?
it was based upon like strange objects that we have
Gotcha.
in the world. One of them was like, the elongated skull, or another one's like Stonehenge, things like that. And then
Gotcha.
they had to create the story or myth like behind this.
Oh,
So that was a
that
collaborative
sounds
project
fun.
that they did. And yeah,
I
so
like
I don't know
that.
if you have any questions at this point. I'm going to go back to
Sure.
you can, yeah, let's just stop sharing the screen. We can just
Sure.
chat and then it'll be good.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
My screen share. Okay, great. Now you're back. I was like, why
Awesome.
do I not see you? Anyway,
Right here.
so yeah, those are all some
Yeah.
ideas that you can kind of do within your classroom. Remixes are really the way to go. They're the way make it easiest for the student while still getting the most value out of it.
Yeah.
So, and it's pretty, you could just think of it as, instead of using Google Slides, you're using this. So it's not that big of a deal. In
Yeah.
terms of like, you can also upload your own images. That is a paid feature though, but you can,
Okay.
you can just upload your own stuff if you wanted to. That's, more related to your specific content area that you want to focus on. I think
Sure.
for ESL it's kind of pretty open, so you could
Yeah,
kind of just kind of
definitely.
do whatever. And we have quite a lot of images that help with visualizing, like vocabulary, for instance, things like that.
Yeah.
That's more for like
Yeah,
younger
definitely.
students. Really helpful. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know
No,
if you have
this
any
has been.
questions. We went through a lot of stuff, some technical difficulties along the way.
Yeah, I'm curious what is going on with my mic situation today. It's been a rough day with my mic.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
Let me know if you can figure it out on your end, or
definitely.
if there's something that we're doing wrong, but I don't really
Sure. I'll
know because
definitely try a couple of things and poke around and
yeah, poke
let
around
you
and
know.
let me know what's going on. I'm not
Yeah,
able to replicate that on my end, so I'm like,
that's
I
okay.
don't know what's going on.
Oh, it happens. But
I mean, the function problem was I
Mhm.
could replicate that, so that's a bug. But
We got that figured. Yeah, but no. Um, no, thank you so much for having me today. This was really, really awesome to learn more
Mhm.
about elementary, about how to, and some ideas on how to incorporate these things into the classes. Just because, like we've mentioned before, it can be a bit like pulling teeth for some older students to get them really engaged and interacting. And um, I really like to try to keep my classes from being too like repeat after me, fill in the blank, like
Mhm.
especially when you're trying to help someone get comfortable with how do you switch between very formal like academic focused English and like than talking with my classmates and more informal, like introducing myself, things like that.
Yeah, I think especially unless you're going really like you have students within the business English context. If you have business English, it's a little bit different, but for the most part, English language is very informal, even
really is.
like compared to other languages. For example, like when we write emails, it's completely different than how people in other countries kind of maybe write their emails. We're very direct.
Oh, very different.
We're very informal, very direct. We're like, hey, Bob, I need this on this day. As short as possible, please.
Yep. ASAP, get it done. Yeah. It's been very interesting teaching English and teaching with the various people that I have in the different situations that they're in, and really realizing some of the peculiar parts of English in comparison to, like, I've had a lot of students from Czech, from Afghanistan, from China, and it's always something, there's always one particular thing that students are very hung up on that's hugely different, but it's always something to do with our level of formality. I find really funny.
Yeah, so like when people interact with Americans, like they're very direct to the point, business, and very like friendly compared to what other countries are maybe used to.
Exactly.
So like one thing for business, for example, in the US, you can literally just tweet someone and then you'll have a phone call with them maybe the day of. Whereas in other countries, it'll be like, oh, I'm going to send you an email so we can schedule a meeting and then have a meeting for the meeting almost.
Yep. Preliminary meeting, then the meeting, then and again, it's I don't know. English is such a funny language because of the directness and the friendliness. Kind of.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about how other kind of cultures or other areas that speak English really interact and do things in. So it's really like because English is such a widely spoken language, so it's really hard to really say applications. And that's why you can't really fault textbooks for keeping it formal, for example.
Definitely not.
It just makes it a little hard when you're like trying to talk to people.
Exactly.
So, anyway, I don't know if you have any questions about anything at this point.
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna poke around a little more, see what's up with the mic situation, and if anything else comes up, I will definitely send you a message. But no, I'm really excited about these remixes, this template stuff, and having some of my students try it out.
Awesome. So once again, you can also just use it like the ESL teacher did for creating your own content for your own stories. So that way, because you do have the audio, music, everything kind of within, it's just makes it a little bit more fun than just a boring, single blank slide with text on it.
Yep, precisely.
So yeah, that's it from me. Since you don't have any questions and we're already like over time, so let's sign out, and thank you so much for joining us for this stream. And I'm gonna go for the thanks for watching, and we're signing out.